People that live the street life watch some of these videos and pay attention to my live streams form the opinion that the 80s was treacherous. Others see this as great history and wish that the 90 and 2000 babies would open their eyes and do something more constructive. Some people just think this ish is hard and ain't nobody messing with it because we give you that real stuff. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that think this is great content. It is. And a lot of people wish to patronize, which is why I'm still here. It used to be all about passion, but now it's about creating content and paying bills. Of course, when you start getting noticed, or people think a black man's making a lot of money, everybody starts to complain. I apologize if I did anything wrong. I apologize if I disrespected any of the families or the victims involved, but all I was doing was posting a newspaper article. We don't have that same energy when it's ABC News or the LA Times. It's not like I said anything. I didn't do a story on anybody. All I did was post a newspaper article that's public record from the LA Times. Again, no disrespect intended to anyone. None. This is why I say we have to tell our own story. If someone knows better and can represent a person better than I can, step forward. Tell your story. Don't die with the story. If you die with it, then you agree with the European American story printed in a public newspaper. You see, on gang cops, the police can say they're going to do something to us, and nobody complains. Where does all the negative energy go directed at KevMac? In fact, who's trying to shut down GTA San Andreas? They've been selling games making money off us longer than I've been on YouTube. And guess who's buying it? Or a better question would be, who cares? These are real dead bodies, murder, and mayhem in a video game versus actual documented history that often results in not so many good stories. It's as simple as that. And while some of the graffiti may look childish, let's not forget some of these guys are killers and a lot have been killed. Nothing childish about that. And then you have some people that enjoy the graffiti videos. They make me feel like our hard work, documentation, and dedication was worth it. It's for the preservation of history. While I agree graffiti reveals too much information, sometimes this information is important, and it's most certainly part of our history. I don't see nobody complaining about skinny KevMac or alleging that I'm promoting anorexia. If this is truly promoting gang violence, what is it when cops are beating up black kids and shooting black kids? Most people will agree it's nothing but the same thing going on. There's nothing new under the sun. But when it comes to a KM video, we're always doing something wrong. But we can show somebody like Rockhead and Goldie out there feeding the community. Nobody say we promoting feeding the community. Any interviews of positivity, anything we're doing well in the community, doesn't get a lot of likes, doesn't get a lot of views, damn sure doesn't get a lot of compliments. And when we try to shit on each other, there's always somebody that's gonna shit on you back. This cat thinks gang graffiti looks terrible. And to this guy, tagging is tagging. It doesn't matter if you call yourself a graffiti artist or a gang member. In his eyes, the community's already in despair and it all needs to be cleaned up. Everybody wants to be better than the next person and put themselves in a category above the other. Real talk. But here you have a guy that actually enjoys the channel. He thinks it's great conversation and it's black history. He loves the channel. Shout out to Tory Thompson. And with that said, you still have some people that like the finger strikes. Those old school hit-ups and originality is something attractive to some people. Maybe not you, but to others. All I did was take the pictures and make a video. So don't crucify the messenger. We can put a governmental spin on the destruction of property and vandalism throughout the city. But the California lottery was supposed to help our schools, and they raised over $37 billion, and we still got problems throughout California school districts. The ignorance does run deep within us, but it probably wasn't a lot of wasted time. Think about that. My favorite is when people try to correct me. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love you to correct me. Sometimes I ask for answers. But when you think you're being a smart ass and correcting me, people will answer the question that I ask and also debunk yours. Unintentionally. As Mr. Joe Rockhead would say, again, some people can appreciate the work. Thank you, Crystal. And then there's the guys that always target LA. I always have something to say bad about LA. But have you ever seen gang graffiti in other cities? It don't get no uglier than that. Now, when I did the video on the green light gangs, very controversial, but you got a lot of people saying I spoke the truth. But if the music is annoying, turn your sound off. Just look at the pictures. Even right here, I just try to tell it from my perspective and from some of the stuff that I learned. I may not have everything right, but there's going to be people that think you don't have your facts right either. It's just one of them things. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Let's debate. But even if I'm wrong, or even if I made a mistake, there's still going to be some people that agree with me and experience the same. Now this one I'll have to explain. Sometimes our comprehension gets lost in the story. Or sometimes I tell a story without giving all the intricate details so the story won't take all night. In this scenario in 1996, Tehachapi Level 2, if you know any 18th Street Southsiders or blacks that know Mexican politics, just ask them. The 18s ran under Serrano politics, but the 18s stayed to themselves and did not participate in racial riots, and they took their disciplines afterwards. So in my view, 18th Street ran their own program. At the same time, they still fell up under Serrano politics. I think by now everybody know I try to keep it as real as possible. I may get some things wrong, but I try to keep it 100. Mr. Ortiz says, I implied they had ran their own program, which in respect, they didn't. Yet, you speak of shit you don't know, homie. No, I know. I just explained. I get this a lot, and there's no disrespect intended to Mexican gangs or gangs that's predominantly Mexican, but you have Cubans, Venezuelans, Salvadorians, Guatemalans that's also a part of these gangs. And even when I use the term Chicano, people are offended. People are also offended if I say Mexican, they feel left out. If I say Chicano, they feel like that's disrespectful. So it's really hard to find middle ground when speaking on predominantly Mexican gangs in Southern California. Angel Morales responds and says, I think he's talking about present times. It's not just Mexican heritage and Mexican gangs these days. Guatemalan, Salvadoran, Cuban, bumped into plenty. Exactly my point. Truck Driving E forms the opinion that I was definitely there, speaking facts on it. He was there in August of 95. A lot of people said I was speaking bullshit. This guy right here says he's from Matavilla, and I told the story on the video spot on. It appears Daniel remembered those days. Yep, waiting outside the county. Damn, ain't nothing like the 90s. Meanwhile, some people want me to keep the stories going. They think they fire. I actually got away from the stories because it takes too much creativity, takes too much time filming myself, take one, take two. And people actually love the fact that I'm giving out good information, not false, outdated information. Although these stories and information was 25 years old. And then you have people that can't even put one sentence together. There's no punctuation. He doesn't make it clear who didn't rush the homies, but he's calling me a lie. Hater. He even attacks me on the 18, never off 13. And a guy from Florence comes and say, they got green lighted for a short period. And then another guy comes along and says, Opal Street locals and Lowell Street locals were green lighted to the 54th Street clique of 18th Street had went green lighted too. And I simply reply, thank you. Here's another guy that says he was locked up during the 94-95 era in LA County Jail, and he explains how crazy it was as well. Some people like narration, some people don't. Some people like the music, some people don't. I personally don't like doing narration. A lot of people like the new approach with the new stories, which I did a couple years ago. I may get back to it, I may not. Too many fools complain, but a lot of you guys compliment it. Y'all take it easy. That's it for this episode of KM Videos. I'm out. Peace. Nowadays, they say stay dangerous. I say stop hating.